And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of Outdoor Journal Radio.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. Outdoor Journal Radio, the podcast. I'm Angelo Viola. He is Peter Bowman.
Hi.
And we will be with you for the next, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours or so.
Come on now. I can't afford that.
We promise to keep it short. Short could be anything, but you have our word. We're going to keep it short.
Yeah, if we get off the beaten path, Dean, you just stop us. Just throw a
Give me
a hell yeah. That's it, right
By the
there.
way, you're good point. That is the lovely Dean Taylor.
Come on
pushing the
now.
buttons as usual, and Volva right behind the camera.
Is he even lovelier than Dean, or is he as lovely as Dean, or what about?
Volva and I are going to be pretty lovely this summer on the tour together, on the shooting tour.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, because I'm going to join him this summer.
In doing what?
I can't tell you. It's a surprise. Volva and I are working
It's like a wardrobe thing, maybe?
No.
You're going to get Vova smoking cigars?
No, that only happened once. Do you remember that story?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Remind me.
In BC.
Oh, I do remember that story. Yeah, he got a little green on that one, didn't he? You gave him a beautiful Fuente or something like that, I think, and maybe.
I'll tell that story because it's a funny story. By the way, today's program is going to be no guests. It's going to be, we're going to talk about the season that's ahead in terms of the Fish in Canada shoot. We're going to talk about some new little things, innuendos and stuff that we're going to throw in as the series unfolds here. We're going to talk about him and I. We're going to talk about all kinds of neat stuff. But before we do that, the story with Volva. So Volva is our camera dude. He's our director of photography. And
DOP. He's our DOP.
So I hired him fresh from the Ukraine. He had just come to this country months, if not weeks beforehand, and we just happened to, it was the perfect storm. We just happened to collide, and there we are. Next thing I know, he's working with us, and within I'm going to say 2 weeks of, maybe even sooner, of him being hired, his first shoot was to BC, to
Northern Rockies
Lodge. And,
beautiful place.
Oh, my
beautiful
God.
place.
And so here we are at Northern Rockies Lodge, and at some point through the shoot, as Pete and I normally do, we'll light up a cigar after work. After the day's done, we'll light up a cigar. And the three of us, Volva, Pete, and I, were at this picnic table, and I said, "Who wants a cigar?" So, of course, Pete said, "Yeah."
Hell yeah.
And I said, "Volva, would you like a cigar?" And I don't even know whether he understood me at the time, but he said yes. So I got him a cigar. These beautiful,
we got a little beverage in hand, too. Of
yes,
course, we
we
got a
did.
beverage, too. Yeah. So you got to enhance the beverage with the cigar.
Was it an Arturo?
Well, but that's all you carry when you have when we have the bigger boys. It's
So Arturo Fuente, beautiful, like high-end
short story,
cigar.
nice little
nice.
wee perfect smoke.
So we sparked them up, and off we go. And I'm thinking, well, that's really cool. It's a good thing that he smokes, because we do like have the odd cigar. And so we're going away, and he's smoking away, and we're smoking away, and everything's fine. And then he disappeared on us, like it was sort of one of those things. Where's Volva? I don't know. Do you see him? No, I don't know. He just disappeared on us. Anyways, the bottom line was that no, he was not a cigar smoker, and he probably didn't understand, or maybe understood, but he didn't want to stand out as being, anti whatever. And so he accepted the cigar and smoked it, and probably got himself all sick, but never smoked again. That was 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago this spring.
You tried one, and that was one and done.
That was it. So
over.
That's my Volva story.
The problem is a lot of times people don't understand. They don't even realize they're inhaling.
Right.
They accidentally inhale or whatever, and that's the killer right there, especially in a non-smoker.
Do you remember
right?
Jordan?
Oh my God! At Corona Cigar Company or whatever that cigar bar in Orlando. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jordan got great. He got sick, man. We were in there having a great time. All of us smoking beautiful cigars. We all had our drinks going on there, and it's an indoor environment. It's very rare that in Canada you can't even do that anywhere. It's great environment, and then all of a sudden Jordan just come up and says, "Boys, I'm not feeling so good." About halfway through his cigar.
No, he came up to me earlier on, and he because I said when we got there, I said, okay, guys, pick out cigars. I'm buying. Everybody grab a cigar. And just assuming everybody was grabbing cigars. We're cigar smokers. And about halfway through, he come up to me. He says, so how long are we supposed to smoke these things? I said, I don't know, as long as you want.
He was rough, man.
Oh, he was green.
He got worse as time went on, too. He stopped the smoke,
green.
and he just, it was ugly.
It's hard to be in there, though, because there's like no oxygen in there. It's all smoke.
It's all
you were
smoke.
there.
Yeah, it's all smoke.
Yeah, there's no relief if you're not
There's no
feeling it.
relief if you're not. I mean, if you love the smell of cigars, you're in the perfect environment. But I'll tell you what, you're encompassed by it for sure.
Oh, my God. You didn't get sick that night, eh?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
No, Dean was good.
Yeah,
Dean
that was
good.
great.
That was
Anyways,
good.
Way off track. So I said we were going to be short, and here we go already. 7 minutes gone.
That's okay. See,
Anyways.
it's organically fun.
Organically fun.
And people might like that. They'll hear stories
so
about
cool.
us. They'd never heard that Bova story before, and even a Dean there, So there you
go. Today's show is going to be about hitting the road again.
On the road again.
Hell yeah!
No, you need that. You need the Willie Nelson on there.
I would have put
on the
that
road
on there,
again.
but he's probably waiting for later on when we get into the
Maybe Dean
actual
could throw that
piece.
in afterwards if it's
Yeah.
not a copyright infringement.
No, it's not.
No? Hell no.
This is that time of year where, I'll be honest with you folks, by late in the year, whenever we finish the season, whether it's October, November, God forbid, should we get it done in September, but
No, you didn't.
every
That
year
don't
about
happen.
that time, I don't know about Pete. Well, I do know about Pete. He's not quite as bad as I am, but I'm glad it's the end of the season, man.
You're ready to tap.
Tap. I'm going to tap. One more outing and I'm tapping, right? But then something strange happens in the off season. You heal, you rest, you whatever the case may be. And about February or March,
That's good.
oh man, is the season ever going to start?
Yeah.
I want to get out of
exactly.
here.
Sitting in a friggin' office for
Exactly.
months.
And that's where we are right now. We're a couple of weeks away from hitting the road for our 39th, the show's 39th road opening.
Wow.
Give me a hell yeah!
Hell yeah, for sure. on that one.
39th
Holy-
season.
congratulations, buddy.
of
That's good.
Opening season trip. Holy
Wow.
mackerel.
That's crazy. And we got a good one to go on, too, so we'll talk about that in a
my
bit.
God.
But it's
Well, go ahead.
Well, we're going to talk about
Feel
that later, aren't we?
All right.
Aren't we
All
going to
right. Sure. Why
Dean's-
not?
Let's stick with Dean's plan, maybe.
Because he's got it all laid out. Let's not.
Got it all laid out.
All right. What do we got? The store. Let's go to the store, Dean. We always like to do that. Look at that new, handsome-looking piece of.
You should have worn that. You should have
Same.
modeled
You know
it.
what? I should have put it on. Why
Yeah.
didn't somebody remind me? I've got my nice
There's a bunch of bullshit.
shirt on.
Dean, why did they see it's Sander vitreus right now, the scientific name? They did change that. Why did they change that? Because it used to be Stizostidium vitrium. And I know for
Look
a fact.
at you.
Yeah,
I did not
and
know that.
They've changed that, and
That's
don't
from
know why.
Napanee.
That's just from this brain right
But
here.
your education was in
But
Napanee.
I was born in Toronto, or Port Credit.
Right.
I moved to Corunna, and then I moved to Napanee, and then to Port Hope, and then to Oshawa. So I've got a collective of a lot of geographic brainstorms.
But I thought the bulk of the education was.
What
from
did I say
Napanee.
the scientific name was, Ange?
I don't know. Are you kidding me? Victor or something or other.
Victor.
Sniff this.
Victor sniffed us. He's a friggin' what do you call it? Vasectomy doctor.
Anyways, these lovely garments, along with all sorts of wonderful new stuff, is sitting at the Fishing Canada store. Now, you can get there either by going through the front door, which I would recommend and suggest, and that is go to fishingcanada.com, click on the store icon, and poof, you're in the store. Or if you want to sneak through and get in the back door, I don't know what the fascination is with doing it through the back door, but whatever it is, you could go to shop.fishingcanada.com as well
on now.
and get all of your Fishing Canada merch and wonderful
And
stuff.
take the poll and tell us what you want to see. There's a poll on there that's, if you want to see something else on there, why not, right? Yeah, you can ask. We might
Well-
not deliver, but they can ask.
Yeah, we're not going to get into a whole bunch of stuff that's not Fishing Canada merch related.
No.
But so don't say, yeah, I want to see you selling fishing rods and stuff. No, we're not going to do that. We are going to, though. We're going to very shortly. I don't know whether I'm at liberty at this point. But,
here we go.
We will have a retailer joining us
Come on now.
very shortly as a major contributor to this podcast, and they have a tremendous e-commerce business that we can start giving you advice on.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a biggie.
Okay, good.
It's a biggie.
Good.
But we can't say nothing yet. Huh, Dean?
They keep
Not
the
yet.
locomotive
Not
rolling
yet.
here.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
look at he's nervous. Look at him, he's shaking over there. He
He
said,
said,
don't do it.
I
Don't
make
do
some
it.
edits.
And
Yes,
you
check
always do it. Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm
Okay.
not going to do it. I can tell you, though, it's coming down the road. And it's going to be great for all of us, for sure.
Good.
Listener feedback, Mr. Bowman.
Listener feedback comes from Hunter73 via Apple Podcasts. Hunter, I listen to the podcast all day at work. Love the content from Canada only. From Canada only. Border City, Lloydminster, Alberta, Saskatchewan.
You want me to read that over again so that people can understand what you're saying?
Go ahead and read that.
I listen to the podcast all day at work. Love the content from Canada only. Border City. He's from Border City.
No,
See?
Canada's
See?
only border city, I think he means.
It's not. There's no S on the end of Canada.
It's not written. See, I'm trying to do a verbatim.
Love the content from
See,
Canada.
see what he's doing? I see everybody just to let you know he's trying to slag me, and now he's slagging.
I think he missed an apostrophe S.
Buddy, whoever.
Canada's
People, when you
only
write
border
this stuff
city.
in, we read it verbatim, okay? If you want us to read it as if Hunter 73, you might want to just add an apostrophe S in there if that's the
Oh,
case.
that makes sense. What he's saying is making sense now. Love the content from Canada's only border city, Lloydminster, Alberta / Saskatchewan.
There you go.
Because it's right on that border between the two.
You think Dean would have maybe printed that better?
I could
a
have-
little help.
I could have-
Sometimes
I could have proofed it.
Yeah,
a
you
little
could have
help.
proofed it. What
God
was my,
forbid. You
I had
were
a
busy.
great English teacher in Napanee. Oh, God, he was good, man. He was he'd have corrected that. And, yeah, he'd have slagged me in front of the class for sure, but he'd have corrected it.
Notice my little addition.
Would you have a
to it.
boo-boo? What
I
happened?
got a boo-boo, a bad boo-boo.
What? Finger
I
prick.
was building a shed in the backyard.
Oh, boy.
And,
Oh, boy.
like, what's the chances of this
Screw
happening?
nail didn't go into your finger, did it?
No, actually worse. So part of the construction involved using the self-tapping screws,
Yeah.
right?
Into
with
metal.
With a built-in washer on them.
Yes, I know those
You
ones.
know the ones?
heads,
And they
yeah.
got the little hex heads?
Yep. And they
So you
have, they
put 'em in-
drill themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and the metal's very thick, 2 layers of metal. So you got to give it some
Both
oomph.
pail full. Both pails full in this
Exactly.
kitty. What,
So I've
2 layers like an overlapping.
exactly. And so I got to put everything into it.
Really?
But I can.
Because they do dig a little bit. They don't have to. You don't have to put everything into
this
them.
This metal was tough.
You went all in,
already,
didn't you?
I'd already done about 80 of them, and there was
okay.
a half a dozen left.
Okay.
And it was in an awkward place.
Stupid Phillips head too, right? Not Robertson.
No, it's not. It's a octagon head.
Oh,
I got
hex.
a hex.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need a nut driver.
I had the nut driver
on it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had the nut driver. So you can really get some oomph.
Oh
on
yeah,
behind
that doesn't give out too often. Yeah.
So I'm on this thing, and it's wobbling and stuff. So I have to hold it.
Oh no.
I have to
What?
hold it.
You're holding the screw?
I have to by the washer because that's the thickest part. But the washer's all one
Yeah,
piece
yeah,
with the head.
yeah, I
right?
know
so
exactly.
I'm holding it, and so now it finally
No
breaks.
gloves.
What do you want to wear? Not winter,
Work
summer
gloves.
for God's
Work
sake,
gloves.
spring.
When you're grabbing screws, you might want to put a work glove on.
Oh, for God's sakes! Anyways, so it finally bites. And of course, there's just too much pressure on it to stop.
You
so my
squeezed that son of a
finger
bitch in there?
got stuck between the washer
And the steel.
and of course, it just went "Drrr," and right to the point where because I had set the drag or whatever you call it on the drill. Right?
Shut the drag on.
And it goes,
One of those things, right? Oh
and this
my
huge
God.
blister all of a sudden developed.
Oh, that is nasty.
Oh, it was
anybody
bad,
that
so.
knows what Angel's talking about can picture. Anybody that doesn't know it, just figure
it's
putting
bad.
your finger between something and a drill and something flat. That's all. Like, oh my God.
The blister, when it
Your
finally-
sister.
it came out. It was like a small caterpillar, like long and it was bizarre. So I cut it open, got the blood out.
Yeah.
And so now I got to put a Band-Aid on it because it'll get infected. The worst part about this story, by the way, I'm telling this story for a reason. I am leaving next week for a trip to Vegas. And what do I do?
Is that your finger?
What do I do with that finger?
Push
in
the
Vegas?
button?
I push the button on the machines. So
You're gonna,
I'm very concerned about what's
put a lot of polysporin on it, like every day, every night. Like you make you heal it up, and then at nighttime take that Band-Aid off. Like make sure you don't keep the Band-Aid on.
I'm contemplating wearing gloves down there.
Well, won't you look
One
like
glove,
Michael Jackson
exactly,
down there?
one glove just to push the
Oh my God!
So where were we? Sorry about that. I did get off topic there.
This podcast is going to go 2.5 hours today.
Lloydminster. We're done.
Yes,
We're done with
Lloyd,
Hunter.
Mr. Lloyd there. Yes.
Huckster from Huckster.
Huckster.
not
I said
Hunter.
Hunter. I said
you said
Huckster.
Hunter.
Yeah, I
Huckster.
correct. Sorry, Huckster. I said Hunter.
And
my
how did
kid's
he
name's Hunter,
come
so.
to us, Dean?
Apple Podcast. He left a 5-star review.
Oh,
Have you guys been to that town?
He might not do that now after we after I butchered his name up. He got down to a 2-star after
end of
that.
story. What's that?
Have you guys been there to
Where?
Lloydminster
No.
or Lloydminster? It's pretty interesting because it's Saskatchewan and Alberta.
Yeah,
but
we've been on that border.
yeah,
Okay.
I know we have.
it splits the town.
And I'll tell you what it was for. Maybe this will ring a bell. This was Outdoor Journal Television, and we were shooting a dinosaur episode.
Yeah, I remember that.
In
that part.
Saskatchewan somewhere.
No, it was Alberta.
Was it Alberta? Yeah, in Alberta.
That's
and
Drumheller.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had to go through there, and we stopped and we shot. We did a little on camera about the fact that this was the only border city either in Canada or North America.
I think it's Canada. But I was there when I was 18, and in half the town you can drink at 18, and the
Right.
other half you can't.
Right.
Oh, I bet you there's one popular site
Yeah.
over there, isn't
Yeah.
there? Oh, wow.
We got to move. Bob was getting bored. I see him. So,
And he's going to Lloydminster
say, look,
next.
he say, move it. I'm in a hurry. Oh, God help us.
Sorry, Huckster. Thank you for that, by the way. Sorry for butchering your name up, but
Speaking of the podcast network, Outdoor Journal Radio, the podcast network, we were, weren't we? Isn't that what we were
Come
just
on
talking
now.
about?
we are now. Hell yeah.
What about it?
Well, this is from Mr. Jerry Willett, Under the Canopy, episode 42, Stinging Nettle. Now, I've heard about this stuff, but I don't really know what it is. It's a stinging plant. It's found near water, et cetera, like that. But I don't know if I've probably seen it 1,000 times, but I wouldn't know what to do to recognize it.
Is it not the one that's got that? Dean, you'd know that. Wouldn't you? It's got that little flower with the little things on
No,
it.
there's no flower on it.
That's a thistle.
It
Isn't
just
that what
looks
you're
like a
talking about?
weed.
Thistle, yeah.
It just looks like a weed with little spikes on it.
I had a buddy that
All
used to
over the
call
leaves.
a girl from Sarnia Thistle. That was her nickname, Thistle.
What? There's a reason?
I have no idea. All I know is she was Thistle. She hung
Just
around
like
the bars and stuff like that.
There's funny.
There was Hazel, there was Stella, but
Stella.
but Thistle was different. Thistle was just there.
right.
How the hell would you
I
come up
won't-
with that nickname like
I have
that?
no idea.
And apparently the stinging plant, the stings become harmless once cooked. So if you cook it and then you get stung, it's harmless. So is it harmful beforehand? Is it poisonous?
It gives you like a rash, like poison ivy rash.
Ah,
But Jerry, he says you can eat them.
to use for tea
Some of
and
the
cooking.
stuff he eats is just beyond me.
But
not gonna
just
try
for him
that
to
one.
discover it, you know what I mean? He's brought us a lot of stuff. We had he brought us in leeks was it leeks?
Yeah, wild leeks.
I have
Leeks
a
last week. Some
feeling.
great stuff.
I have a feeling that he uses you guys as guinea pigs. Okay, he goes out on the way down here
He
to
pricks
record.
us with a thistle.
He stops on the side of the road. And he sees something that's different other than grass, and he picks it. He brings it in
And then
here
he
and
looks,
says, "Hey,
looks over, scours the internet. If something even looks close, it doesn't have to be it. He just says, "This is the stinging nettle here." Meanwhile, it's the Sarnia thistle. Yeah, God.
used for diabetes and
Osteoarthritis.
you didn't think I could handle that word?
No, I know that word very well, so that's why I thought I'd just throw that in.
You didn't
there.
think I could handle it? You were saving
as
me.
soon
said-
as you,
I was walking
I
the
could
rope,
tell
and you
you
said, "No,
stepped
let
on
me-"
one good foot of ice, and the next one I said, "Shit, Ange, you don't want to step there, buddy. I know you're going through, but
Sometimes also used for urinary tract infections or UTIs, and who doesn't know about those?
Ooties.
Kidney stones, enlarged prostate, and hay fever and other conditions. So,
wow."
in other
Good
words,
stuff.
if you're my age, you should be taking this stuff regularly.
Did I ever tell you about the hay fever I used to get bad as a kid, right? And I'll tell you one quick story on that. I got it so bad one night, afternoon, evening, whatever. My parents were away for a bit. My mom was a nurse. I got it so bad that my eyes literally swole shut. Like I could just barely see through my eyes. I was allergic to some in the air, the hay fever. And the more you, as a kid, you scratch your eyes, you do whatever it helps to alleviate the annoying. Mm-hmm. Dude, I let Mom a note. I says, Mom, I don't know if this is a concern to you, but I can't see. My eyes are swollen so bad. That's how bad I used to get it back in the day. Yeah, it was nasty. Wow. Nasty.
And what was the net result? It would go away in a day?
It would go away. Yeah, it would just eventually go away. Yeah, usually you drive to, if we were driving to areas, if we were camping, fishing or whatever, you go to a certain area, all of a sudden I'm just just going nuts. You know what I mean?
Because I know you're also allergic to meetings and stuff with your eyes. I know that. I noticed that. Maybe it's a byproduct of that.
That's totally different.
Because when we're in meetings, and you got about a threshold of about 10 minutes in a meeting
at most,
and then
which is what a meeting should last.
And then you start yawning, and you start doing this incredible way of rubbing your eyes. Like it's not like normal rubbing eyes. You do it backwards. Have you noticed that?
It's a double reverse Momback.
It's a double reverse Momback rubbing your eyes. So
yes,
I know
I've got that planned.
When I see you
that's
doing
my signal to you.
I
but
know.
Unfortunately, Angelo says, "Oh, I better go another hour and a half in this meeting." Then now I'm looking over at the people we're having a meeting with. They're all rubbing their eyes.
I don't know how we got onto that. But anyways, this stinging nettle that's being talked about on Under the Canopy, the podcast by Mr. Jerry Ouellette, former Minister of Natural Resources in Ontario, by the way.
Yes. A brilliant
man.
It
sounds like it might be a solution to a lot of maladies. So my question would be, why don't we hear more about this stuff?
Well, maybe if they listen to Jerry's newest podcast, that's going to happen. Podcast number 42.
I mean, kidney stones and large prostate, hay fever, and other kind of. Who hasn't got those?
I love at least people looking into natural, remedies. Yeah. I think that's a great thing because let's be honest, medicine. It can cure one thing, but it can cause another thing too, right? Their medicines are kind of scary sometimes.
And it's not just an age thing too. Although, like I said, people my age should pay attention to this because obviously a lot of these symptoms are associated with folks.
See that right there? That's called chaga tea, my friend. That's
I went to the doctor. Obviously, when you get in your closer to the end than the beginning, let's put it that way, you have more
days behind you than ahead of you.
More frequent visits to the doctor, and as you get older too, you don't mind bringing your spouse with you because sometimes, no, and I'll tell you why. There's a reason for this, because sometimes you don't quite. First of all, you don't understand all the words that these doctors are throwing out there, and other times, if you're like me, a lot hard of hearing, you miss some of the messaging. So as you get older, I finally figured out why old guys take their wives with them because they
freaking interpreter.
As an interpreter, right? So I went to one of these recently, and so the doc. It was just a general checkup, and the doctor, he said, "Yeah, I want to check just basic, blood pressure. I want to listen to your heart and all that." So yeah. And then he says, "Yeah, and then I'll give you some bronchial assessments and stuff." And I didn't know what he said, and I said to my wife, "What did he say?" So he's going to check your bronchial tubes and stuff, right? I said, okay. So anyway, he does his tests, and he says, "You're great. Everything is good." And I didn't hear. I said to my wife, "What did he say?" He says, "You're good. Everything's good. You're good to go." I said, Good. So I'm getting up to leave. He says, "Oh, one more thing." He says, I think we should do. I want to get a urine sample, a stool sample, and some blood as well. So I said, "What did he say?" And she says, "He wants you to leave your underwear behind." Da-da-da. That's the da-da-da. Thank you.
I was wondering at first where you were going.
I know. I had to get it out of me. I've been wanting that one for
that's good.
I've been holding that one in. In the news, a study finds recreational fishing accounts for 11% of reported harvest in inland fisheries. Now, when I saw that headline, that's in fishingcanada.com, by the way. When I saw that headline, first thing I thought of is that's awfully low, isn't it? I would have thought that number would be much higher.
11% of means there's 89% of somebody else harvesting fish, right?
Yeah, but I
Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's what I would think. Dean, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
See, I would have thought anglers would have accounted for a higher number than 11%.
Well, it means that there's somebody else is harvesting a lot of fish
No
in
kidding.
inland lakes.
No kidding.
A lot more than we
I
expected.
mean, I can understand globally and
I think this is global, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it?
this is worldwide.
This is
worldwide, but it is inland fishery.
Inland, yeah.
I have to assume freshwater we're
Yep.
talking, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have thought we would have been much higher, but maybe because in Canada, recreational fishing is a much larger thing than it is maybe
It would
worldwide.
be, if you looked at a Canadian percentage, that number might be higher versus.
For example, in this article states that Canada is number one, obviously, in that, and Poland is number two, which I found kind of odd. But now that we sort of talk it over like this, they probably don't have the number of anglers pursuing fishing and catching and consuming, but they probably have a huge commercial harvest.
Yeah, very well could be. I mean, it also has Scandinavia and Germany. Those have a high number of anglers, of sporting anglers. That's for sure. Their pike, their zander, their perch that they go after in the inland lakes. It's very popular over there. So, that's interesting. It says rod and reel fishing is much more than a recreational activity. It makes an important contribution to the diet of many regions of the world. So. That number there, around 280 million recreational anglers, I'm going to assume this is worldwide, catch more than 1.3 million tons of freshwater fish every year.
How do you feel about that number? 1.3 million tons.
How do I feel about it? Well,
Can you envision it?
It's hard to even imagine.
It's hard to
doesn't
imagine.
even make sense.
It's hard to imagine.
We're talking.
Yeah, especially when you're talking inland lakes, which the average fish might be 2 pounds or a pound. Maybe a pound, right, or something like that. I don't know.
Like I said before, Canada is number one on that list. So we consume more freshwater per capita, more freshwater fish, inland water fish, than any other nation in the world, followed by Poland and Argentina. So
Argentina, wow, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought Argentina was more of the
saltwater.
The trout. No, I thought the trout creeks and stuff, and that was all the pristine fly fishing, catch and release and stuff like that.
But
and
this
the golden
is
Dorado and that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't know that they had inland lakes that have whatever in them. I'm not sure what kind of fish are in there.
This the article goes on to tell us that this bodes well for angling in general because people like Shane Mahoney, who we met. Oh,
I was there.
Oh, you were there, Dean.
Yeah.
We met him in Ottawa at a function, and oh my God, I could sit there and listen to this guy for days because he's saying that if we want to keep our fisheries and, more importantly, our right to fish and consume fish that we catch or not consume, just recreational angling in general, we need to tie it to consumption. It needs to become a tool to.
I get that. Unfortunately, I get that. Because we love our catch and release fishing.
Right.
We love eating fish too, but we could live without it if we had to. But yeah, you have to tie that to consumption so that you can't. People will pick. Hey, look at those boys putting a feed bag on.
Speaking of consuming,
I love it. Look at that. They get the beans and the corn going on, fried taters and pickerel. For sure, walleye on those.
But that's
plates.
what he's advocating this. He's traveling all over the world talking about that to angling communities and saying we need to change the way we sell angling to the general public, because his concern is that eventually it's going to get harder and harder to justify what we love to do. But if you tie it to consumption, which
Absolutely.
at 1.3 million tons of freshwater fish consumed every year, it starts making
now
sense.
the other side of that, the do-gooders will say, well, you're killing too many fish. It's 1.3 million tons of fish a year. You can't be doing that. Meanwhile, they go home and eat fish that they bought that were killed.
Which is perfectly fine in their mind, right?
Of course.
But that's the same argument we have for hunting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. People don't realize that how much good, let's say, the country of Canada in particular, moose hunting, we'll use as an example. There's a lot of study that goes into the harvesting of moose. You know what I mean? Let them run rampant, let them run wild, and watch out. Bears encroach on you.
Bears
you know.
Yeah, any of those things. Now, neither one of those products are available commercially.
Right.
Right? So the only way you can get moose and or bear is to harvest it or have a friend who will harvest for you, which a lot of people do, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of people that either don't hunt or maybe don't think that hunting is right. They still have buddies who bring them a moose steak now and then.
Yeah,
right?
my buddies have given me venison every now and then. Yeah. You know, I love it, right? I don't deer hunt. I'll give you a very quick example of that was Grandpa Bowman. Clarence Bowman, way back in the 1940s or whatever. They were up in Sleeman, Ontario, way up north in northern Ontario, and he was a surveyor, my grandpa, but he was also a total bushman. And the town would literally, if they couldn't get out deer hunting, they would, I don't even know if it was legal or not, they'd give him their tags. Here, Clarence, can you take the tag and get me a deer? He'd be shooting deer for everybody. You get the deer.
Is that legal?
It might. I don't know back then.
Not
probably
now.
not now. But that was in the 1940s or 30s or whatever it was. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he'd be on a surveying route and he'd just say, "Yeah, Bill, I got your deer for you. Come out and get it. You know, go get
That's
it." So,
crazy.
yeah. So.
But that was a way of life. I
Of
mean,
course,
that
back
was
then.
true
Oh
consumption.
my God, they were
right?
poor. Everybody was poor back then.
Yeah, there was no hunting involved. They were out
They wanted to get a deer for
sustenance.
food. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So.
So, anyways, it's an interesting article. It's worth looking at because he's addressing us as anglers and outdoors people. We just need to portray what we love to do a little bit differently moving forward. And he's absolutely right. He's a fascinating speaker. If you ever get a chance to listen to it, does he have anything on online, Dean?
Conservation Visions, it's called. That's his website. And there's a bunch of videos and stuff on there. We're trying to get him on. He might end up on here soon. So
Tremendously insightful. Spending or listening to him, whether you're doing it live or on YouTube, for a half hour will change your perception of what you thought was etched in stone up until now, because he's got some great viewpoints.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And he's a very dynamic speaker, too. That doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But anyways, that story's available right now on fishingcanada.com if you want to read it.
Come on now.
Get
When you're
on.
there buying your swag, when you're
When
buying your
you're buying
walleye
your
hoodie.
swag.
Right?
Is there any swag in that picture? Yeah, well, it's an Ontario swag in there.
Yeah.
We should bring those
Fishing
back.
Canada hats. Fishing Canada
Should.
hats.
we should request those.
We
The
should.
Ontario jean jacket.
The jean jacket.
Yeah.
It's a jean shirt. That was a
Jean
denim
shirt.
shirt.
I have
yeah.
one of those, too, by the way.
And that's what do you got there? You got a hoodie? You know, you got something else Ontario on there.
I know.
Look at you guys.
The black
couple
beard.
of
Look at me all blacked out.
Hey,
Eh?
Blackbeard. Oh, you're a pirate. Hey, Blackbeard. Nice.
This week's fan question. We got to move on, Mr. Bowman.
Yes, this is from Stephen Anastasi. Stephen's given us before, hasn't he?
Yep.
It looks familiar.
Yeah, it does look familiar. Via email. Quote, I hate when I'm anchored/drifting in a wide open lake and another boat comes right next to me and starts casting. I hear you, buddy, on that one. What are some of fishing's unwritten rules that you feel are often ignored? Well, that's a good point he makes, because it does happen out there, and it happens more often
Ice
than
fishing
not.
is another area
Ice
that
fishing's
happens.
huge, and for some reason, walleye fishing really attracts the crowds, right? Instead of, finding your own patch of fish, finding
Food. It's food. That's why.
because they're going to eat them.
They're going to eat them. That's why that species would attract more of this. Let's get over there right away. You're
Right.
going to get them all before we get, you know what I
Right.
mean? Whereas bass fishermen might not have that same.
But even so, like if you're fishing a weed line and somebody pops in, remember we used to get somebody popping in front of us. You were working left or right,
Oh,
and they go in
I
front of
hate
you.
that.
That was an asshole move of the century right there.
hate
Oh
that.
yeah. Well, we found the spot too. Well, good for you.
Go
Thanks a lot,
behind me
buddy.
then.
Yeah, fish clean up behind me because I didn't catch them all. Yeah, it's definitely I don't know if there's any unwritten rules, but I mean, we try our best not to do that. If we're in a big group of people, obviously, like at a fishing lodge or something, they're all saying, "Guys, come on over." Then you come on over, but you don't really
But
hone
even
in
that,
on them.
when have we done that?
Not
I can't
really.
even-
Yeah.
No, we like to. We're kind of loners in that sense. We like to
I have
get off the beaten
I got a
path.
story that I just heard. a buddy of mine, I won't name any names in this thing, so a fishing friend of mine was out one day with his daughter, crappie fishing, and in the middle of the lake. And it took him an hour. Now, this lake was barren. He said there was 0 anglers on it. It took him an hour and a half to find a school of crappie with his sight finder. He's using his Garmin sight finder. He's using a GT54 on that one, buddy. And he found this school of crappie. They set up, they anchored, or whatever, locked his trolling motor. And they proceeded to start catching fish after fish after fish. It was beautiful. It was a riot, him and his daughter. And then this boat, they came right in between him and the school of fish, like where he was casting. And they dropped their anchor right there and proceeded to just boom, 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 boom. And he looked at his daughter and he said, "Is this for real?" And she said, "Don't do it." And he did it. He lit into them like there was no, he says, "I have never lit into anybody in my life like I lit into these assholes that did that to me like that." And then after that, I don't know if they left or he left or both, but I think he might have shamed them into getting the hell out of there or whatever. But they literally got between him and his fishing area and a lake that's miles upon miles upon miles. They saw him catching fish and they come right in on it.
Some people have got balls the size
Like,
of
what the hell is that?
dinosaurs.
You know what I mean?
I remember, not to get off that, but I remember, you remember it well. We were fishing a tournament one time, and and I won't get into the details because it's irrelevant, but we stumbled onto this totally obscure pattern, but more importantly, location, literally in the middle of a giant lake. We found it purely by accident. But anyways, it was loaded with fish. And we were so far in the middle of the lake that nobody in there was nobody that could have seen us out there. That's how far away it was from shore. And on the first day, we absolutely annihilated them. We were first and second in the tournament.
Lit them up
day.
good, didn't we?
Lit them up real good, right? And so second day, and of course, not a soul. We could hear everybody running around the lake, but we couldn't really see very, you know what I mean? We couldn't see a lot of boats, which means they couldn't see us. And then on the second day, about an hour after we got there, we started hearing this boat, and we're catching fish like crazy. And we started hearing this boat, and it sounded like it was coming our way, but it was so far away we couldn't really see it yet. Sure as hell, there it was. Two competitors were coming our way, and they stopped about 100 feet away from us. Mm-hmm. Remember? Maybe even
Where's that
less.
guy in that picture?
Where's that? I want that picture back with
Dean,
Reno.
that last picture.
I need Reno in there.
That guy over there, for people that are watching, that boy there. For people that are not watching, the opposite of Angelo, his brother Reno, is right there, okay?
So anyways, these guys, and we're like beside ourselves. We said, those sons of bitches. They had binoculars.
They did creep in, too. They come off plane, and then you could see them. They were fishing. We knew where they were, in 60 feet of water. Out there fishing nothing. And we were in 12, 8 foot of water. So,
but they made like they had a spot.
Yeah, they were working their way towards us.
Well, that's the last thing. I don't imagine they've ever done that again because they got right on top of us, and then Big Brother Reno,
my God,
he gave them a wherewithal, man.
Speaking of lighting into them, he lit into them like this, and that was vintage Reno, boy. You do not want to just cross Reno because he was good at vocalizing his opinion, and those boys, he shamed them right off there. They got the hell out. They left.
To answer Stefan here on this question, sometimes that's what you need to do. If somebody does that to you, then it's just pure, to me, it's either ignorance or just don't give a damn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's the other side of that too, right?
It's my lake as much as it's yours.
I'll fish whatever I want.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's when you got to get up on the bow of that boat, stand on your tippy toes, and you say, nuh-uh.
Kiss me arse. Get out of here.
That's just not right. Even though there's nothing written, it's
an unwritten rule. Yeah. I mean, he's asking what are some of the unwritten rules. Well, there is no unwritten rules, but let's just be honest. We like to give each other space and other boats space. I don't know what kind of distance space would be. Like 100 or 200 yards. 100 yards is probably maybe something decent, but
I'm thinking of that day when Reno barked at that guy. They just
They were stunned.
Pulled out their electric motor, sat down, turned the boat around, and we could hear them running away for an hour. It's like when your dog runs away from you and you're in Saskatchewan. You see the dog running away for an hour. Well, that's what they did. We could hear them. We couldn't see them. We could hear them take it off.
Yeah.
We never did find out who they were.
No, we didn't.
We were thinking they might approach us at weigh-in, but they never did.
No, I think they were embarrassed. I mean, you're on a spot all day on Saturday with no boats on it, and then you go half the day of Sunday, and then all the guy creeps in on the number 1 and 2 position boats in the tournament like that. I think there might be something to be said for that.
Oh, God, it was hilarious. Anyways. That's it, Stefan. Hopefully that answered. There is no unwritten rule, but you kind of got to...
Maybe you could vocalize without being too crazy, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I think you might also... When I said there's 2 reasons, either ignorance, meaning they didn't realize that they're doing that, or just they don't give a damn. So the only way to find out is to, like Pete said, vocalize a little bit. Say, hey, guys, we've been here for an hour. It's hard. Like, we really appreciate if you did. Now, if they don't accept that, or acknowledge that, or react to that, then get up on your toes and let them have one. Shoot one over the bow.
Tungsten 1 ounce weight doesn't tickle a head.
Don't say that.
If you're an accurate caster.
Anyways, hopefully that answers your question. Now, one thing I do want to say before we leave the fan question of the week. So you said when you read the name, you said that looks awfully familiar. I've seen that name before, and Dean acknowledged the fact that there was this particular person has had a question read on the air before.
He leaves reviews and stuff. I think we've read one of his reviews.
Oh, because I was going to say, it just attests to what I have been saying forever, that you reach in, these are just by random, you reach into the drum and pull them out every week, because were you not pulling them out random, you certainly wouldn't have had another question from a previous question asker. I'm on your side on this.
He asked good questions, maybe.
I'm on your side. It was just
Dean
random.
Dean says what's fair is fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he pulls them twice, he pulls them twice. You can't put them back in the bin and say,
That's right.
The humble goldfish, everyone's favorite aquatic pet. It's small, easy to care for. What's there not to love?
Even the cat may be mesmerized by the color and movements of your aquarium friends. Goldfish are great at home, but don't let them loose.
Releasing goldfish or other domestic aquatic pets or plants into natural environments is harmful to both your pet and the planet.
Goldfish disrupt ecosystems by outcompeting native species for food and resources in degraded habitats. They contribute to algae blooms, they kill aquatic wildlife, and pass viruses and diseases contracted in aquariums to wild fish.
They could even live up to 40 years and grow as big as a football. Anglers, this is where you come in. If you find a goldfish at your local fishing spot, report it to the Invading Species Hotline or go online to eddmaps.com.
Remember to never dump your live bait into the water and risk spreading other aquatic invaders. Keep our lakes free from invaders and don't let them loose.
How did a small-town sheet metal mechanic come to build one of Canada's most iconic fishing lodges? I'm your host, Steve Niedzwicki, and you'll find out about that and a whole lot more on the Outdoor Journal Radio Network's newest podcast, Diaries of a Lodge Owner. But this podcast will be more than that. Every week on Diaries of a Lodge Owner, I'm going to introduce you to a ton of great people, share their stories of our trials, tribulations, and inspirations. Learn and have plenty of laughs along the way.
Meanwhile, we're sitting there bobbing along, trying to figure out how to catch a bass. And we both decided one day we were going to be on television doing a fishing show.
My hands get sore a little bit when I'm reeling in all those bass in the summertime, but that's might be from more fishing than it was punching.
You so confidently you said, "Hey Pat, have you ever eaten a drum?"
Find Diaries of a Lodge Owner now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast.
On the road again.
On the road again.
He's pushing buttons frantically. He's got nothing.
No, I have nothing.
He's got nothing.
It'll be done in post.
I saw him pushing, but it did.
He's got a nice big logo up there.
It'll be done in post.
Boy.
So as we said at the top of the program, we are embarking on our 39th road trip. Wow. Yeah.
Holy
4 decades.
moly,
Right?
but
4
dude,
decades.
that is crazy.
And we're looking forward to it. We've been hunkered down like everybody else during the winter period, hunkered down, waiting to get back out again for open water fishing, and we are heading out.
Chomping at the bit. Yeah, baby. First stop. How do you want to do this? Do you want to go through our stops, or is it
no? Let's talk about this. One of the new elements on the show. Well, not on the show. One of the new elements that we'll be working on these shoots.
The video podcast?
That's it.
Wow.
Look at that. See? You can hide your own Easter eggs.
When do you guys make these decisions without me in the meetings?
You were in the meeting. I think you were sitting right there.
Was I sitting right here in this spot?
I think at that point, he was doing the double eye.
By then, boys, I'm thinking about the largemouth bass that I caught 3 years ago off of Point Ann in Belleville. Yes, indeed. So there you go. We're going to have a video podcast instead of, we do record on the road. We have in the past recorded audio, right?
Once.
Wasn't it? No.
Yeah. All season last year we did them from the road.
Yeah.
But they weren't always, we did them at hotels sometimes, and they weren't, we tried to structure them like we do these ones.
So what we're going to do, because Mr. Bowman was absent that day when we had the meeting.
Just that portion of the meeting.
Apparently he was gone.
And my mind was a little absent.
He was there in body, but not in mind. So what we're going to do, a lot of you have requested to let you in on the behind the scenes on the Fishing Canada show. Because after watching for so many years, there's a lot more going on than what we managed to cram into a 22-minute
like our
episode.
crew getting sick on cigars, stuff like that.
Well, there's that too, right?
So
this is going to be a little more of a behind the scenes, a look into what happens on these shoots. We're going to be doing it fresh off the water, which I think is the important element here. We're not going to have time to kind of regroup, rethink, make up, although we will have makeup. Apparently, Vova will have his makeup kit with him.
We'll have nice suntans by then. Our faces will be all beautifully tan. We might not need it. So.
But these are going to be a little grittier than we've done in the past.
Oh, now you're getting me excited here.
We've spent by when we do one of these, we have probably been on the water for 13 hours, 14 hours, and we're
knackered.
We're knackered. Thank you.
We're knackered.
And we will be talking about our activity during the day. A lot of it.
I kind of do remember this talk now. I think I woke up maybe halfway through that meeting. I think I'm getting onto this. We have a cigar too?
Exactly.
Yeah, now I remember. We got a beer and a cigar involved.
Exactly.
I'm onto it now.
Exactly.
I like this. I like where you're going.
We're going to tell you what happened that day. We're going to be as open and blunt and honest. If we had a bad day, we're going to talk to you about a bad day, which is good, by the way, because bad days is when you learn. Good days, you don't learn a whole lot. You're just having at it. But bad days, there's a lot of learning happening. So we're gonna share with you both good and bad. But the important thing is we're going to be fresh off the water. So within a half hour of getting the boat either up on the trailer or tied to the dock.
Wow! Every day of the shoot, or just
no,
one?
Just once a shoot.
Okay. I like that.
Every day. He seriously doesn't remember being at this meeting, Dean.
Well, you're saying on day on the water. Well, these shoots are more than one day.
I think we'll probably do the last day so we can kind of summarize the whole thing.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think we do the last day.
But they won't be as long and they won't be as structured as these. So we're not going to cover the news.
No, there'll be nothing.
Yeah.
I'm loving this. I love this idea, guys. When did you guys come up with it? Freaking idiot, eh? Quel idiot.
The joys of Peter Bowman. It doesn't get any better than that. All right, Mr. Bowman. Now.
And by the way, it's how you get those bad days of memory?
Yes.
Whatever. I think it was yesterday or today. Well, actually, I can't even remember now. I had one of those days the other day. I'm just thinking, it was yesterday. Holy shit. I can't remember that. I can't remember that. It was like a complete day of not remembering, way off the normal bad game that I'm on. I was way off that game even. It was just like
scary.
It's scary. It is scary, buddy.
I don't know what we can do about it, but if anybody out there listening to this, by the way, that I don't know has any opinions and or maybe a solution or help or whatever, we have a real bad memory problem. Now it's selective.
It
is selective.
Yeah.
But boy, the cup is full and it's running over. Nothing seems to stick in there anymore. Wow. So,
yes, that was a
let
scary
us know
moment.
if there's a solution.
Maybe some food, maybe some kind of Jerry can give
Jerry
us
will tell you he'll go outside and pick
Sarnia thistle.
something. Yeah,
eat Sarnia thistle is good for you.
Yeah. No, he actually has given me some opinions because he's not a medical professional, so he can only give you an opinion.
Correct.
You're on Chaga, aren't you?
Right here, bud.
And you do it every day?
Every day through the week. Yeah, Monday to Friday.
Okay, so clearly Chaga is not helping.
Not my memory. No, that's for sure.
All right, no, I'm just saying.
That's for sure.
Because I think he did tell me it was good for that, but all right.
Oh, well, I got to up my count a little bit.
Yes,
Then. My intake is a little low, obviously.
The 24 shoot schedule, my friend.
We have 24 shoots to do?
The 2024 shoots.
Oh shit! I was going to say we are in trouble, boy. Starting, our first shoot is in a couple of weeks from this podcast. From recording this podcast, I don't know when this podcast airs. It doesn't matter. A couple of weeks from today, we're going to Northwest Ontario, which is one of our favorite areas to go. Which is whoever's been there and has experienced the fishing up there and the trip up there and the people up there. It's just outstanding on all aspects, right? So we're going to. Our first spot is Nordic Point Lodge on Perot Lake.
Which is right nestled to the west of Lac Sewell.
Exactly. If you looked at that, not very far at all, right? Which is fish country. Let's be honest. That is, that whole area is great for fishing. So, and then that's Will has got a. He's been. I don't know how long he's been with the lodge. A couple of years now or something. He's working.
He bought it. He bought it.
Is it? He's in partnership, right?
Partnership,
yeah.
right?
Not that long ago,
I think 3 years ago.
And he's been working real hard at getting this place, in order. And we hooked up with him, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be an outstanding couple of shoots. We're going to do a couple of shoots out there.
Yes.
So
walleye and pike.
Well, they get that silver pike in that lake in Perot Lake.
Silver pike.
Which is, we'd love to get one of those. Yeah, if we could get one of those on camera, that'd be a first for sure.
I talked to Will the other day. He got a 32-incher last week.
Oh, wow.
So if they stay on them, that might be our show. Yeah.
Okay. Either that or they're going to catch a ball. And
that's the other thing.
I've been through that before.
Oh, my God. There's something. There's a quick story for you. We looked out for the fish for you guys, the Fishing Canada guys. Come on over here. We got 200 of them last week. Okay, thank you.
And they're all in the cooler. That's the best part.
Yeah, we've had that too. So, but that's gonna be good. Will's got. They also have some fly out lakes. So they have the main lake, of course, and then they have fly out service to these small little out lakes and all that. So it should be a very interesting multi-species shoot. I mean, everything from crappie to lake trout are there, and everything in between. Right? I think there's one season that's not open. Muskie is not open when we get up there, but everything else they have that early bass or all year bass. Catch and release season early in the year, and then everything else is pretty much wide open. So
and guaranteed to have plenty of black flies and mosquitoes.
You're looking at a
and
Volvo,
horse
aren't
flies.
you? You're looking at
I'm
Volvo.
looking directly at my buddy.
Yeah, well, the horse flies, no, that won't because it's too early for that. They're summer guys, right? Deer flies and horse flies, they like the heat. And
I don't know.
I got a feeling you're going to be Black Fly City. And then maybe some mosquitoes will be following in when we're there. You never know.
I never trust early seasons like this. I never say never because when I do, I'm always disappointed and shocked. I always say the first 2 shoots of the year, geez, a crapshoot, whether you're going to be okay or not with regards to bugs.
Right.
But
right. That's going to be a double shoot. So, but after that, we're going to Lumberjack Lodge on Sturgeon. It's another sturgeon lake, so it's not that far. It's due east, I think, of where we're going. Due east of Lac Sewell, a little bit south, too.
And east.
Yeah. And again, it's going to that's a lake trout lake for numbers, but the walleye fishery there is. It's not a numbers fishery as a rule, but it's got big ones. So that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Kidding. How big?
Well, I mean, typical northern. The farther north you go, it's harder to catch those 30-inch plus fish, right? But this seems to have a good run of that 24 to 27, 28-inch fish.
Wow.
You know, some 4 or 5 to 7, 8 pounders.
Nice.
Yeah, and of course the big ones too. And I think we're gonna be putting our electronics to use in that one. I think that's gonna be a real eye opener for, you know, getting our side finding going out there. Of course, live scoping, the whole 9 yards. I think we're gonna really,
because we'll have our own rig on these shoots, right? Both of these shoots.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, we're bringing up the new Princecraft. So
nice.
And we're dialing her in right now as we speak.
Yeah,
for
we're going to play
electronics,
around
so.
with some of the Garmin stuff. We're
Yeah.
going to have some fun with it, but
Yep, we're mounting them in different positions this year,
Exactly.
doing stuff like that. But you know, a pole mount versus trolling motor mount and stuff like that. So we'll be able to explain a lot of that to the audience as well. So.
and we'll be able to talk about that on the podcasts that we produce.
Oh my God, you kidding me?
Right,
That'll be
after
a big talk of it
being
for
out there
sure.
all day, especially if what we're talking about, what we've been discussing the last few weeks, works.
Mm-hmm.
We're experimenting with some new ways of deploying the technology, and if it works, oh my God,
We'll have some fun.
it's a game changer.
We're gonna have some fun. So we probably won't do lake trout there because we have later on. We'll talk about
Coming up,
a shoot that's coming up. It's gonna be bigger lake trout. So
that's 2 locations. The third location, we are, as The Rock would say, finally.
The Rock has got back to the Northwest Territories.
Give me a hell yeah!
Hey, I don't like that guy.
So we're heading to Great Slave Lake. It's been
Oh my
almost
God.
20 years since we have shot.
Yeah, it's been
in
a
that
while.
area.
It's been a long while.
We're going to Brabant Lodge, which is a really, really, I think, an unusual, might be a one-of lodge, because Great Slave Lake, he just mentioned lake trout. Well, Great Slave Lake, that's what it's known for.
One of the best in the world.
In the world. People pay tremendous amounts of money to go to Great Slave and fish for these giant lake trout. I mean, giant lake trout. Getting a 30-pounder is, okay, big deal. You got to get closer to 50 to really start getting excited about the lake trout on Great Slave. We're going to a place that has no lake trout on Great Slave.
Oh my.
Right.
That's right, George.
And that's one of the reasons we're going there. How this whole shoot came about is kind of a miracle anyways. It came about from a trip that we made to the Rocky Mountains in northeastern British Columbia several years ago, and fished for walleye in the Rockies, which was totally unusual at the time for us. Now we know it's not unusual, but we started looking into, why are these fish here? Why are there walleye in the Rockies? And lo and behold, everything is tied to the Mackenzie River that flows there. And the Mackenzie dumps into Great Slave right where this lodge is. Literally they're sitting on the mouth of the river. And all they have is walleye and giant northern, no lake trout. So we thought, what a cool place to shoot.
It's obviously a shallow portion, a shallow end of that lake, right? So, I mean, we know we fished the Yellowknife River before.
Yes.
Right near Yellowknife, and we got great pike fishing. And remember that? That was cool. That was fun, seeing those logs laying down there and catching them up. So, and then look, all the little bays that if you go to a lodge, sometimes you'll have the odd bay or whatever, but it's lake trout mostly, 99%, and then a little bit of pike. This is the opposite because of that. It's just shallow, yeah. So obviously it doesn't have the depth to support lake trout, right? I would assume you have to travel probably quite a ways from the lodge to get to the lake trout water. I would think it must be just a big, huge basin.
But if it was as easy as that, you would think that they would have it available, right? They would have it available on their website. When you go to a Brabant Lodge, you'll see,
Yeah,
lake
but you know
trout.
what? If it's, how big Great Slave is. It could be a 25-mile run to get to that water. They're saying, I don't want to put our customers out that far, and that's, it might be a danger issue or whatever like that. And why, if you're going to go up there and you don't want lake trout, and you want pike, this is better because the pike, because we've got pike in another lodge we went to, we caught some pike in one of the rivers that come in, and they weren't world-class pike. It wasn't like, oh my God, we're going to get giants. They weren't giants. We were surprised at the size of the pike. It was fun. You got them every cast, but they weren't giants. Here, I think there are going to be some giant fish caught.
Fun.
So
that podcast that we do from there will be a guarantee you one to check out.
That one might have to be inside because the bugs look pretty bad.
yeah. Now,
Speaking of bugs,
So you got to
my
do a
God.
podcast from there. You use their Wi-Fi, or how does that work?
No, we're gonna do it all on the board
just-
here, and then on
Right,
this
and
camera.
just record it all, and just okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because there'd be no service up there for
So-
anything whatsoever, right?
You said that the two previous locations, bugs might not be an issue.
Why are you guys doing this to Vova?
Will
Why are
be
you-
an issue on this shoot. Okay, I guarantee you.
Are we bringing the big dragonflies with us?
Yes.
You're gonna get some.
I'm going to get some of those. Those,
need
you know,
that.
those funky looking things that you pin onto your hat.
You might.
We're going to try it because
Yeah, we might look a little bit weird this year, folks. Weirder than normal this year, folks. When you see dragonflies off the boat and off the hats and off our shoulders and stuff. Oh God! Anything to alleviate those deer flies and horse flies, at least, right?
if we survive that, we're planning on being at Show Deer Lodge as our next shoot. We haven't been there for a few
Finally,
years.
the rock returns again,
The
right?
rock returns
Yeah.
on the Upper French River.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Under new ownership. The interesting part of that shoot is that Steve Niedzwicki, who is part of our crew, who was the previous owner of Show Deer, will have an opportunity to do an episode or be part of an episode from the other standpoint, from the other side, from what he's normally used to, which is being the host and owner of Show
Right.
Deer.
Right.
Now he's going to be the host of the Fishing Canada show, working with the hosts of Show Deer. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic.
And he has learned a lot over the years, right? 10 years of owning that lodge, with working with all those guides, he has definitely built some knowledge into that head of his. So, yeah, for sure.
From there, we're off to Loon Lodge.
Lake
on
Toboggan. There's our lake trout shoot right
Haven't
there.
been there for a long
I
time
know.
either.
Again, yeah. So that's going to be, I think, this is going to be a really interesting shoot because the lodge owner at Loon Lodge is on to big lakers and big walleye at the same time.
No.
Yeah. So it's not just going to be, you're thinking Temagami, the lake trout lake. Yeah, there's some giant walleye in that lake.
Now,
so
by that time of year, because I'm doing the math here, we'll be well into July.
Yep.
Right?
July-ish, August, midsummer. Yep.
So these are all going to be deep fish, obviously.
Deep fish, deep related, if nothing else. They're relating to deep bait, et cetera, et cetera. So the lakers for sure are going to be deep.
Are we going to be able to use our 62?
Hell yeah. That's the lake to do it on.
Oh, boy.
Right there. If we get onto a lake trout bite, are you kidding me?
We got a new toy on the boat. It's a new Garmin's, part of the Garmin lineup. Normally, what most people will use is a 34 transducer for live scope, and this is a 62. So the difference with it is that it will transmit a signal up to 500 feet.
Yeah.
It's effective from 300 to 500 feet. So
Yeah.
obviously for us, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, because we'll probably fish at 100 plus,
Yeah.
to 100 plus, but then, you're scanning and scoping throughout that whole range. So the transducer is designed for saltwater, but it's also, they said, well, you know what, Great Lakes anglers and deep lake trout anglers can use it as well. It's not just pigeonholed for saltwater. That's what it was designed, but there's going to be a lot of power in that baby.
And we've never used it before, so we'll be able to report on that one as well on the podcast that originates from
Loon Lodge.
Loon Lodge.
It's going to be a fun one. We're going to see Jimmy Grayston, too.
Oh, that's right. Jimmy's on that
Jimmy's
lake.
on that
Oh,
lake.
that's
Yeah,
great.
we got to have to coordinate a little visit with Jimmy.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Go
Lake
ahead.
Obabaca Lodge. This is
Yep.
one we've never been to before. So this is a new one for us. And again, this is a lake trout and walleye lake, and it's smallmouth. But we'll probably concentrate on smallmouth on this lake. And they have outback lakes, outlakes. You can. I think you boat over to these little landings and you portage in. I don't think he has flyouts, does he? It's not flyout. No. And you portage into these other lakes that he has available. And those, I love those kind of shoots. You know what I mean? There's just something different. If the main lake is shut down, or you want to get a second shoot, or whatever it is, you can bring your brook trout gear in and you scoot in with a little tiny Mercury motor or something like that, and troll around for brookies or whatever species you can go for. You know what I mean?
You know what? I stand to be corrected on that. I think he does have flyouts.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I remember something now.
Cool. Well, even better. I mean, you even get more harder to access areas. So a lot of these lodges that we go to do offer that. They have their main lodge, and if you want to get that package, Nordic Point's another example that we're doing this year, and that you can stay at the main lodge, fish the main lake. But, however, if you want to upgrade your package, pay a little bit more money, you can do a pike lake in the 20-minute flight or whatever like that, or a walleye lake for numbers. You want to catch 200 walleye in a day, no problem doing that. And they usually have different species and different opportunities. So these are things you look at when you're going to a lodge, and it's a nice little upgrade for sure when you do it.
From there, we head east.
Oh boy,
go east, young man, or is that west?
That's east, young man. That's east.
The St. John River in New Brunswick. We're going to be down there for an extended visit. And we're going to hopefully do a bit of a potpourri in terms of species, although we're kind of hoping we can get into a couple of those big fall stripers.
Are we not doing largemouth out there?
We are too, but we're doing a potpourri.
Okay.
They want to do here's what's available type of thing.
I like that even more. Man, there's a
we
lot
will be
available
doing
there.
Largemouth.
Imagine that, largemouth bass in New Brunswick. And they're there, folks. They are there. It's a kind of a, I don't know if the boys are keeping it a secret or not. I mean, because it's getting overpowered by the smallmouth population.
She ain't going to be a secret after we're done.
No, we're going to make sure that people know about it for sure. So that's going to be a cool shoot. If we can get on even a couple largemouth in there, you get 2 stripers, 2 smallmouth, 2 largemouth. You got a nice little show right there. You know what I mean?
Sturgeon.
Yeah, sturgeys, the Atlantic sturgeon. Yeah,
so there's all kinds of opportunities on St. John. The thing is, it is a cornucopia for anglers.
It's unreal.
Because not only is it a wonderful tourism destination, but it's a great way to sell it to the partner. Let's go to Fredericton to vacation this fall.
Mm-hmm. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Well, there's all kinds of interesting things to do. We could do from, the Cabot Trail in Nova Scotia. There's so many things we can do in that area. It'll be fun. And if we have some time, we can go fishing too.
And there are largemouth bass there. Well, that's where you're going.
Well, maybe. I don't know. The Fishing Canada guy said there might be. I don't know. From there, we're off to the Bay of Fundy.
Yeah.
Probably
the Minas Basin, right? The Minas Basin on the Bay of Fundy.
We're back with Greg Beliveau.
Greg Beliveau of Bass Barn Charters.
Bass Barn.
Yeah, we're going to do another striper shoot there. We're not
Interesting one, though.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
We're hoping to maybe hit them on both different tides because it's such a different fishery. So the last time we shot there, we had to literally wait for a river to fill up with water because the boat launch was dry. So once the tide comes in, the river fills up with water, you launch the boat, you go fishing, and then you got to come back before the river drains out because the tide is now going away. So you never fish the outgoing tide. You're always on the high tide. Well, apparently if you go out and get out there in time and then it all drains out and then you come back after the incoming tide, it's a whole different fishery. So it's going to be kind of cool.
I don't mean to interrupt that wonderful. That was very eloquent.
Uh-oh.
That was a wonderful. But I do have to interrupt this program to bring you a much anticipated bonus code.
I thought I made a mistake or something.
For the latest Fishing Canada giveaways. This week the code is PREVIEW. That's PREVIEW. PREVIEW, capital letters. Just type that in the bonus code section of the contest and receive 100. I still can't believe we're giving away 100 free entries for that, but apparently we are. For those who aren't entered yet, what are you waiting for? There's all kinds of goodies that we're giving away there. I mean, forget the fact that we've given away boats, motors, vacations. Right now it's all about electronics. Am I right, Dean? We got electronics going on with this?
We have them up all year.
Garmin Electronics, the good stuff. All there waiting for you. So head on over to fishingcanada.com. While you listen to the rest of this episode, and just click on because apparently you can do that. You can
multitask.
I
like that.
And
I don't
click
do that,
contest.
but I like it.
I don't either.
I wish I could do that.
Whenever I do that, I either hang up on people or I lose the site that I was on. And sign up for all of the latest Fishing Canada giveaways. Now back to the episode.
Boom. Wow.
Come on now.
Where were you?
Well, I think we were just finished talking about our last trip for the year.
Yeah.
Dean's got in the lineup here. What's the new Garmin setup for this year? So we are doing some different setups this year.
We're going to unveil 2 or 3 different little things that we're doing with Garmin products that you will be very interested in.
We are going to release the Kraken.
Yes,
we're going to release. So we're going to run. Normally we would run on the Garmin Force. Up until now, we ran the Garmin Force trolling motor. They make a Garmin Kraken trolling motor that's much more conducive to the type of boat that we're running. The Force is really more of a bass boat, low to the water boat. This Kraken is the minimum shaft length is 63 inches. Then it goes from that to that, and the ocean ones, there's like a 90-something inch shaft on one of the ocean or the saltwater units. It's unreal, but apparently from what we've heard, this trolling motor is outstanding, and apparently the anchor feature is like dead nuts on. And one of the reasons for that is that motor uses reverse. Instead of spinning the head around, then if you've seen a trolling motor now that's on an anchor lock, it spins, it goes crazy, and all that kind of stuff. This one goes forward, reverse, and just barely kicks to the side, and with extreme accuracy. So I can't wait to use that thing. And it's got, it's over 100. I think they've measured those things at 112 pounds thrust on 36 volts or something like that. So there's a lot of power in that motor. So,
but one of the really interesting features of it is that you can now run your live scope communication cable right down inside the shaft of the trolling motor, as opposed to it being all over the place like all other motors. This is the only one in the marketplace that will allow you to actually feed live scope cables through the shaft down to the head, because then there's a plug-in down there that allows it to...
it's essential in that type of motor, without getting into it like crazy, the force trolling motor, when you lift it up, the whole motor comes up and it just sort of lays on the top of your boat. And then you drop it all in, the whole motor comes like that. These ones, they slide through a sleeve. And when you slide through a sleeve, you can't really run a cable up and down the shafts of these motors properly, without having like Ann says, cable hanging. Yeah. So that's the key to running it in the shaft of the motor. It's going to be great.
But we'll be running our transducers on a separate pole on the boat this year for the first time.
That's something else we're going to do.
Multiple transducers as well. So a lot of new things we're going to play around. Like we said, we're going to play around. You'll find out as we introduce these things on all of these individual episodes. Our plan is to have the podcast from that location kind of let you in on step 1, step 2, step 3, and show you our progression.
Yeah, get a nice little technical aspect of the podcast too, right? That'd be cool.
Yeah. Now, I see Dean's got here multiple camera boats for this year.
Yeah.
Maybe he can elaborate on that for us.
Yeah, we have a new camera.
Because I was not there for that meeting either. It wasn't just
you were scratching your eyes like I got you in the eye scratch thing. Yeah.
What is it? How do you even do that? You got to show me how you do that.
Like that?
No, it's upside down. You go over from there. There you go. That's it.
Wow.
Like you go like that.
Well, you got to get under the glasses, right? I don't go under the glasses. I go over the glasses, right? I'm always on the top of things.
You were saying, Dean? Sorry.
Yeah, we got a new camera, so kind of in line with like like being more behind the scenes. We're going to have another camera operator, and it's going to be kind of picking up a little bit more of what goes on when we're out there.
Well, we're out there. Yeah. More like the fly on the wall kind of approach.
Yeah.
And that's going to be cool.
It'll be a cool addition.
Anyways, a lot of new things coming up for the Fishing Canada show, and consequently, the Outdoor Journal podcast. So, that are it. I got nothing else to give. I've given it all. It's going to be the most exciting, my opinion, the most exciting season in our 39 year.
Why do you say that? What do you think? What's your,
I just have a feeling.
Okay,
we've got new technology we're going to deploy. We got new camera we're going to deploy. We've got just some great ideas from all the crew, and I'm excited, man. I am super pumped.
Me too. It's gonna be fun.
Going to have those big dragonflies.
That's going to be the big difference for the audience. They're going to see that and say, "What the hell is going on with these guys?"
So don't miss it.
I love it.
Don't miss a single moment of it. All coming up where you watch your Fishing Canada show, whether it's on Global, WFN,
Sportsman
Canada, any of the above. Don't miss the new season, and also don't miss a single episode here on. And you know what? One of the best ways to make sure you don't miss a podcast, especially those coming up, is to subscribe, because then it's guaranteed you will automatically get that episode that is connected to each one of these Fishing Canada episodes that we just talked about. Best way to do it is just go and subscribe.
You're gonna stay up on it. You're gonna be ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, Ange.
There you go.
There you go.
That'll it, folks. Thank you very much. Go to fishingcanada.com, the gateway, the portal to your next fishing adventure. Go to the store, go to the news, go to the how-tos, go wherever your little fingers will take you, but go there. On behalf of the entire crew, Volva behind the camera, Dean
Give me
Taylor,
a hell yeah!
Come on now.
right over top of Dean Taylor. He just played his own. He couldn't even hear, but that's okay.
Bye-bye.
He is Peter Bowman. I'm Angelo. I'll catch you next time, folks.